So what have I got for you today? Well, I got the TESMEN Smart Digital Multimeter, the TM510, and we're going to compare that with my AOKO Zo T28B multimeter, and this one I found to be very, very accurate, and it's my go-to multimeter. Well, the TESMEN only costs £14.99, currently with its 6% discount, or the recommended retail price of £15.93. That's cheap as chips. But is it worth it? Well, I suppose at 15 quid you can't really get wrong, but you can, can't you? Because at the end of the day, you need a multimeter that's going to work, don't you? It's no good to have a multimeter if it isn't going to work, is it? It's no good if it's inaccurate. No, it's no good if the continuity don't work or the ohmage and what have you. It's pointless. So what we're going to do is we're going to test that one against this one. Now, here it is, unveiling the TESMEN automatic multimeter. Now, this particular multimeter, just like this one, has non-contact voltage as well. Yeah, just basically place it up against something and it'll beep. And you'll know if the socket is live or cable is live. It's quite a useful facility. Do you trust it 100%? Well, it's the first point of call. We'll test that as well. So, what do you get with your TESMEN Smart Digital Multimeter? Well, you get the box, you get a nice little case, and you get the cables, like so. And they're quite nice cables. They're not a stiff, horrible, plasticky ones. They've got a nice flexibility to them. They've got the typical kind of probes on the end here. They're quite protracted there. They come out from about 15mm from the end of the actual insulated handles. Whereas on this one, as you can see, it's far more substantial. But yeah, again, this has a much more substantial price tag attached. Remember, that's only 15 quid. We've got to bear that in mind. So it might be a bit of an unfair comparison, but if this gets anywhere near this one in its measurements, I think that one's a good buy. Yeah, it'll suit most people. And the fact it's automatic, it just makes life a breeze, it does. There's none of that faffing about, twisting your knob. Yeah, you don't want to do that, do you? No. Anyway, so we've got our two probes here, and in this case, for this one, like I said, it's got the shorter pins, and this one's got the longer pins. It came with the batteries, this TESMEN, but also, they weren't any old batteries. They were actually Duracell batteries. Now, I remember when I first got this one, the batteries that came with this were crappy old Chinese things, and I wasn't certain even if they were alkaline, so I was concerned that they could leak. So I didn't put them in there. I put alkaline ones in instead, that I was confident with. Bear that in mind, whenever you get anything like this, where the battery's going to be in it for a very long period of time, and they could potentially leak, put some alkaline batteries in. Something that, that isn't going to leak and damage all the connections inside with acid. Yes, so don't do that. Anyway, so no further ado, we're going to test this against some voltage, but also some resistance as well. So, what we do is we'll start with the voltage. We're going to be using my camera battery for my Lumix G7 camera. So, I know this should be, according to this, about 8 volts, I think it is. Well, it's saying it's 7.2 volts, but it's over that. I'm pretty certain it's in the 8 volt range. So, we'll start with this one here, and we'll measure the actual voltage of the battery. Now, as you can see, I'm going to put it on 2 voltage. It's on voltage now. So let's place that on there like so. And it's saying 8.11 volts. Now, we're going to hold that. So it's hold. So 8.11. So how about the TESMEN? TESMEN multimeter. What voltage will it tell us? Is it going to be anywhere near this one? So I know this is pretty darn accurate. 8.15. That's near enough. It really is when you're dealing with voltages. Yeah, I'd be happy at that. I don't see any problem there whatsoever. Okay? Yeah, it does react much slower, I must say, than the actual AOKO Zo, but does it really matter? No, it's quick enough, isn't it? So, yeah. So that is the voltage. I would say the voltage is pretty darn good. That's DC volts. Okay. Now, what about resistance? Well, resistance is pretty much if you've got something in the way of two contacts coming together. So if you have these two prongs coming together, like so, these two probes, they come together, and if there's nothing in between, there's zero resistance. So if I place them together like so, zero resistance. As you can see. Now, the same should apply for this one, but with this meter here, the AOKOZO, I like saying that, I have to twist it around so it's onto ohmage to measure resistance. Now, it's looking for something. So what we're going to do is, we'll place these together, like so. There you go. Saying a little tiny whisper of resistance. Oh, 0.1. Oh, no, we're there. We're there. There's zero resistance. But what if we put some resistance in the way? Like a resistor. Now we could use this potentiometer or potentiometer, or we're going to use this little 1K or 1 kilo ohm resistor. I've got these two cables attached with little crocodile clips. So all we've got to do is connect the test. So we'll start with the AK. This one here. So it's on ohmage still. So we're going to place that onto there like so, and that one onto there like so. There you go. You've got to be careful when you're doing this because you've got to make sure your connections aren't touching anything else. If there's anything, if it actually touches anything, even though it's not in the circuit, potentially that could affect it. Now, if for instance I connected both of these 2 meters up to these two same crocodile clips at the same time, you would get an inaccurate reading. That I promise you. Okay. So at the moment it's saying it's just over a kilo ohm, fractionally over a kilo ohm. Well, that's going to fluctuate anyway, resistance does. So I won't be too worried at that. So that's narrows down. So the TESMEN multimeter, is that anywhere near that? Okay. As long as it's, it doesn't, those ones there don't start going up, I'll be happy. Alright, let's have a look. So we've got to place that one onto that one. I'm a woodworker, so excuse my hands, I keep cutting them. Got a bit of super glue on that one, holding that one together. Yeah, that's what happens when you're doing woodworking. You have to hold your fingers together with super glue. So that will go on there, and that one's going to go on there. And that is... Oh, hang on, it's the wrong meter. Oh, that one. Okay. Now, we'll place that on there now, and now it should be doing its reading. Got to make sure everything is connected so it's not in any resistance. It's jumping about because it can't... It's got a bad connection. Still got a bad connection, saying it's got more resistance than it has. It might settle down. These ones here. Now it's jumping about because it's not got a very good connection on these connectors. That's probably because the resistor is actually tarnished. Oh, there you go. That is pretty much... Well, that's near as damn it. If you remember, that one was 1004, and this one's saying 1009, 08, 07. Does it go down or up? It go down. That's not far off the mark, is it? Now, I think most people would be happy with that one. 06. Okay, it's living there 5 Ascot. Right, it's because of bad connections, you see, and humidity and God knows what else. So I'm quite happy that that one gives me a very similar reading to that one. So far, so good. Oh, well, it's the same now. Settled. Oh, no, 5. So that's pretty darn good, I would say. Especially on resistance, because that can fluctuate all over the place. So, what about the other features of this meter? So let's remove these prongs, the probes, take them out of the way. Oh, a good probe. There you go. We have our TESMEN meter there. So what other features does it have? Obviously, we know it's got the ohmage. It's got the AC voltage. It's also got DC voltage and continuity. So you've got to make sure your circuit is complete, and resistance because of the ohmage. It doesn't have all the features of this one, but another feature it has, which is quite useful. If we bring this charger down here, the only reason I'm bringing this down here is because I want the actual the electricity that's in it, so to speak, if you know what I mean. Because this has a feature, quite an interesting feature, and you can buy. I've had Robin ones, and various brands of probes and what have you, AC voltage detectors, but this also has an AC voltage detector built in, which is pretty darn clever. So all you got to do is press that button down there, hold that down, and it'll go into AC voltage. I don't know what that means, AQR that is. Anyway, so now if I put that near something that has electricity in it, such as this charger, as in, when I say electricity, I mean mains electricity, from 110 volts. I'm not sure what the range is, actually. I haven't checked what the range is. But we've currently got 230 volts here in this cable. But that would also be like if you're in the US, for instance, there'd be 110 volts, wouldn't it? So a lot of these things work have a range from around 12 volts upwards, which would be interesting. They won't work on this one, I think. No. That one there. No. So it has this non-contact voltage detector, which is a very useful thing to have. Because if you want, like for instance, you've got a radial circuit of sockets or lighting, and you're trying to work out whereabouts the power is lost. You've got a socket that doesn't work, and you're trying to work out where the power stops. So if, say for instance, you might have a socket not working, and then you find there's another socket not working because you've used this, and you know that somewhere between that socket and the socket that is working, that there is a problem. If there's no power, if there's nothing there whatsoever, it's a good way of locating the problem in the actual in the house itself, or even in a garage or industrial building, whatever. So it's a good way of isolating a problem. So it's a good tool so far. So far. Now, the only thing I would say about the non-contact voltage testers like this is that I would never ever consider them 100% accurate. Okay? Although I've never ever had a problem with one to give me a false reading, I haven't. Unless the batteries are too low. And if the battery's low, you can get a false reading. I'm not sure about this one, because I haven't tested for that with low batteries yet. But you could give you a false sense of security. So once you've got isolated it, before you start touching wires and stuff, make sure you use the actual probes themselves and stick them into the plus and the plus or minus, or the positive and the negative of behind the socket, and double check that they are live or they're not. Otherwise, you might get a little bit of a belt. Yeah, that'll ruin your Sunday roast. Anyway, so that works. I'm quite impressed with that. So we can take it out of that mode by holding it down. I believe I go back into auto mode. And there's something else that this little meter has. It might be a little gimmicky, but not really. Not if you think if you're working in a consumer unit and it's a bit dark, or you drop something you can't find it because it's dark in there. But it also has a little torch on it. See? That is actually surprisingly useful. It might seem a bit gimmicky, but it's not. It's actually a useful thing to have. I don't know if this one's actually got it. No, it hasn't. It's got a no contact voltage. Actually, no, it might do. I don't know what that is. That might be one. Oh, it does have a torch. I didn't even know. Alright, fair enough. How do you turn it off, though? Oh, just press it once. Okay, so, yeah, it has a torch as well. You press it once, or you hold it down. You hold it down. So there you go. That is the TESMEN multimeter. Smart digital multimeter. I actually really like it. I think it's the ideal thing to have in your toolkit. This thing's a bit bulky to cart about, unless you're, a pro and what have you. Yeah, well, then obviously you're going to want something like this. But even if you are a pro, to have something like this, which is compact, easy to have in your tool belt and what have you, you can, go from place to place to place with that quite easy. But this thing's a bit, a bit chunky. Yeah, you don't want that in your pocket. People wonder what's going on with you. So, okay, so let's go over what you get. You obviously get your box, like so. You get a case, like so. You get your cables. These ones here, like so. You don't get the crocodile clips, but you get those. You also get a manual, which all fits in. Well, does that fit in there or not? I don't know if it does actually. That'd be quite useful if the manual actually fitted inside there, or does it? Let's have a look. Because that would be a bonus. Oh no, that's not fitting there, is it? That is. That's. What? Or does it fit in that one? That side, maybe. Because if you're new to using a multimeter, it would be very, very useful to actually be able to take the manual around with. It squeezes in there, but it's not ideal. It's not ideal. I think the manual. I think that's a flaw. It might be a tiny flaw, But for those who are new to using multimeters, have an accessible manual nearby, it would be a good idea. What you could do is photograph and print off one of the pages, or even have it on your mobile phone or something, just so you can have the instructions available if you come unstuck. And obviously, then you'd only carry around the instructions for the language that you require. You're not going to need all that, because you see there, they're all different languages. And what languages do we have? We have English, Deutsch, so it's German, Francais, so it's French, Italiano, so you've got Italian, and Espanol, so you've got Spanish. So you're not necessarily going to need all those languages, are you? So anyway, anything else with that? So what, you get your batteries, you get the meter, you get the probes, case, and a cardboard box. Right, all for the princely sum of $14.99 with the 6% discount. Do I recommend it? Well, I'd like to have a little bit more experience with this particular multimeter, and see if I come up with any kind of problems with it. But so far, I'm actually quite impressed. Actually, for the money, it's a nice thing, and it's seems well made, and to have such a comprehensive automatic settings, and you've got this nice little dial here that tells you where you are and what have you. At the moment, it's looking for a signal. Yeah, I actually like it. I do. And the fact that it actually gave me readings very similar to my AKKO ZO T28B, it's quite impressive, especially for that price. So, anyway, I'll leave a link in the description if you are interested in buying one. It will be an Amazon link, which is an affiliate link, so we would get a little tiny commission off Amazon if you do decide to buy one, which is quite nice, because obviously, you know, put that effort into putting these videos together. But like I said, this is a sponsored video, but no money has exchanged hands from TESMEN tools. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little video. Anyway, if you did, please click like, or, you know, boot the old like button, and subscribe to the channel, and maybe that little bell icon, because then you'll get a warm, fuzzy feeling in your pocket every time I upload another video. Anyway, over and out.